Welcome back to another episode of the Don't Wait for Your Wake Up Call podcast. I am your host, Melissa Deely, and I am here with Michelle Ricketts on a special Podapalooza episode. Welcome to the show, Michelle.
Thank you so much, Melissa. I'm thrilled to be here with you today.
I'm thrilled to have you here and to be talking about fitness and your journey. And just to introduce you to the audience, in Michelle's life, health and fitness has always played a part and continues to be important to her. And she uses it in her consulting approach. As a process and systems guru with 35 years of corporate experience, Michelle combines wellness and business acumen to guide executives and business owners. She promotes health, fitness, and mindfulness to enhance decision making and overcome setbacks and increase revenue, empowering clients to take back time to do things that excite them so they can be happy and dance regularly. I love that.
Yeah, absolutely.
So
Thank you so much.
You're very welcome. I would just love for you to share a little bit of your story as to how you got into this line of work. Obviously, you've spent time in the corporate world and you've combined your two passions. So I love that.
Absolutely. Well, and I loved what I did in the corporate world. I was an account executive, primarily on the sales side of things, working with C-suite executives. But I've also been restructured 3 times. So the first time was shock out of college. It was like, oh my God. Third time, not so much. When somebody's going to pay you to do something else that you love, you kind of go, okay, I'm okay with that. So I had done an event series for entrepreneurs and business owners in 2017, 2018. And I had an event hobby on the background. And that really showed me that there was a bit of a gap between knowledge for entrepreneurs and access to information. And that's where I decided that I wanted to close that gap and to really be able to help. But as you said, health and wellness has always been key for me. So one of the things that differentiates me from other business consultants is having that as part of my business. And when I start a session with a client, the first thing I ask them is, how are you? And I say, it's a question, it's not a greeting. So you can't say fine or okay and just move on. We need to actually talk. So it's amazing how challenging people find that at first, because that's the knee jerk for most of us. It's how are you? And off people go, right? They don't really care and they don't want to hear. But part of being healthy, part of having a rounded life is understanding how we feel ourselves, but also having others understand. And if you're having a crappy day, it's okay. We're allowed. If you're having an amazing day, let's celebrate. But it's understanding that conversation. So that's a big piece. So that's really how I got started in doing what I'm doing. And that's how I bring things forward.
I love that. And I love how you just take those 3 simple words and you don't let people skate through them, which, as you said, is what so often happens. And that instead you're asking people to tune in, pay attention. What is going on for you? And I do also love, as a holistic, mind body health practitioner, I love that you bring the discussion around fitness to business discussions because they do go hand in hand.
They do. Absolutely. Yeah. I would say it's why it's in the airplane. They ask us to put the mask on first if something happens, God forbid, because you can't help others if you haven't taken care of yourself, and businesses and life are no different.
Exactly. And our bodies were made to move. And in
Yes.
today's world, we are seeing all the chronic illness that's out there. And it's not the only reason, but one of the reasons for that is we're just not moving enough. So we're not oxygenating our blood enough, et cetera, getting nutrients to cells, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And then we end up with chronic illness and the stress on top of that, the nutrient deficiencies, the processed foods that we eat. That's just all coming in the perfect storm to create all this chronic illness, which is, epidemic in today's world. So,
And so
mhm.
do you find that sometimes too, Melissa, people don't even know, like you may not have a chronic illness, but if you're not eating healthy, nutritious food, if you're not exercising, you're not getting enough sleep, your body is not at its premium, at its optimal state. And sometimes people don't even know that because they're so used to how they feel, which is really
Exactly.
crappy. They just
Exactly.
think that's their norm, right?
Right. And we notice, we don't notice our children growing taller. I always say that we don't notice that slow decline. And so I will often ask my clients, just how good are you willing to allow yourself to feel?
Yeah. Perfect. I love that question. It's wonderful.
Because they do, as you said, they get so used to feeling the crappy way that they do, they think that's the only way. And they don't
Mhm.
realize that if they start to take care of themselves properly, with just small, tiny changes that they make every day, not everything all at once, that they can
No.
start feeling better.
Mhm.
And so, yes, in my work, I love nothing more than to take a client through a detox program or one of my other protocols and have them say at the end of it, I didn't know I could feel this good.
Mhm. And it really is about being in tune with our body. And a lot of people are not. I used to teach aerobics, and it was amazing how you'd see some people and they think they're doing exactly what you're doing, but they're not. And that, that's a good analogy for we're not always in tune with our body as some people think that they are. And being and understanding our body is really listening to it because it gives us signs and it tells us things. And if we don't listen, a lot of times people pop the pill rather than listen to what the body's trying to tell us,
Hmm.
right?
I
It's
say it's,
not a good
yeah,
approach.
exactly. And the symptoms we have is our body's way of talking to us.
Exactly.
And
Yes.
society teaches us to ignore them, to push harder, to suck it up, to,
Yeah.
push through. And then we start ignoring those symptoms and blaming it on aging or on our
Mhm.
genetics or on our
Yeah.
seasonal allergies and doing nothing.
And age is another one people throw in there. I speak on being mindful,
Hmm.
being a tenacious leader, and mindfulness comes into that. And part of being tenacious, it's not about, as you said, the suck it up and all of that. Yes, you do that, but you can do that with health.
Yes.
And that's what helps. And being a tenacious leader, where I got that from is somebody said to me, Michelle, you're tenacious. I've seen it, right? And when I was in corporate, one of my executives said, you're like a dog with a bone. And it's not because I'm feeling bad and sucking it up. It's because I'm feeling good and pushing it through.
Right.
Right.
And you have
Yeah.
the energy and the ability to be able to do
Ability
that.
to do.
And I've
Yeah,
been told the same
absolutely.
thing. So clearly we're like sisters from another mister or something.
I love it.
And, at first I was like, is that an insult? And I realized, no, it's not. It's me push, like doing the work that I believe in for the purpose that I'm
Yes.
on right now or the mission that I'm on right now. So
Absolutely, absolutely. Right.
beautiful.
And it is interesting as I watch different people, even when I go to the gym, like over the years, I've seen people, their bodies grow and change, and they're still doing the class or whatever it is, but they're not really looking at everything else they're doing. So they think, oh, I'm working out now, I can go and have McDonald's or whatever. Well, no, not if that's not the right thing for your body. It's not. And they're just gaining weight and looking at unhealthy and feeling unhealthy, opposed to the other way that I like to approach it is to continue to change and I still do some type of workout 5 or 6 days a week. It's not all about going to the gym. I do a boxing class. I do a lot of classes now. It's easier for me to follow somebody than figure it out all myself. But I do boxing, I do yoga. I do some circuit classes, some HIIT classes. I do spin bike. I do intervals myself. And once a week, I do a full body weight workout. All of those things help me to be able to keep going and push through. And yes, the body changes as you get older, but it's not an excuse. Somebody said to me, I said, I'm working on this menopause waistline. And then we said, oh, it's okay. No, it's not okay. You don't have to give up and give in. You can continue to work on it to make sure that you're doing everything you can to feel good and enjoy life and whatever that means to you.
Exactly. And that's what it's about is feeling good, knowing how good you can feel and making that choice to feel that. And therefore you are able to enjoy life.
Yes. Yeah. And I say happy dance regularly
Yes. Love that. Put the
about your
music
life
on.
and your business. Yeah.
Put the music on and dance it away. So I'd also
Yeah.
love for you to share this work that you're doing, how that's positively impacting the people that you're working with and their
hmm
businesses.
hmm Well, the positive impact is how I show up to work with others. And
Hmm.
then I bring forward some of the elements of what I do for health, fitness, wellness for them to help them incorporate that. And part of it is scheduling. So that's one of the key things that I talk about all the time, because scheduling and time blocking, a lot of people say, well, I'm trying to do this, or I used to be this, or I used to go to the gym, or I used to eat healthier. Yeah, the used to doesn't count. You're not there anymore. What are you doing now? And that's what we look at. So the business part is so key. We helping them to be able to look at systems and processes and intellectual property and recurring revenues and all that stuff. But you've also got to do the other side of it, which is what are you doing? When are you taking a pause to eat? And I used to put a dot in my calendar and schedule that when I was in corporate, because you'd be in a meeting and doing something and you forget to eat. And I'm sure other people do that all the time. So it's a matter of scheduling, getting that in. When are you going to eat? Making sure you're getting enough rest, and restful sleep, not just, very distracted sleep, not putting your phone down before you go. My phone doesn't even go into my bedroom. I use an old fashioned alarm clock because I
Me
don't
too.
want that, you don't want that, what is it, that, you don't
Distraction.
want it to be distraction. Thank you. You don't want that distraction of it being right there. So yeah, it doesn't even come into the bedroom. And there are people that look at that and go, "Oh my God!" But yeah, you do it too, so
I
it's
do too. I have
possible.
the old-fashioned alarm clock, and I
Yeah,
really promote that because
yeah,
I teach about sleep as well, and I know what blue light is doing. I know what EMF is doing, and how all of that is negatively impacting the bodies to even produce melatonin in order to get
yes.
into that deep restorative sleep.
Right.
So,
Yeah, yeah. I'm seeing able. So being able to do the business stuff, but also being able to have that health and wellness piece and really focusing. I don't do meetings in the morning before 10 a.m. And
no,
it's
I'm
not
the
that my day
same.
doesn't start. My day starts at 6:30 or 7, but I go and do my workout first. I'm a morning workout lady. If I didn't do it then, I'm not doing it at 5 o'clock when I want to go meet with friends, or sometimes I have a meeting, or you're just tired. I
Yeah.
never understand how people think, okay, yeah, I'm gonna now, I've just had a full day. Now I'm gonna go do a workout at 5. Morning's not for everybody. What I say is find something that works for you, whether it's
Yes.
swimming, running, weights, whatever it is, find what works for you and the time that works for you, then do it. Get it into your day and keep
Yes.
it as a religion, because
Yes.
it needs to be, right? This is your temple, your
Yes.
house, whatever you want to
Exactly.
call it. And if we don't take care of it, then something's going to give. And it's usually going to be you before it's anything else.
And I'm exactly like you. And I don't see anybody before 10. And, this morning we started a lot earlier. It's the anomalous because it's a great Podapalooza day. So today
Yes.
my workouts is going to be later. The sun's out. I'm hoping it's a lovely paddle on my paddleboard. However,
Nice.
typically it's done in the morning and then I have
Mhm.
the energy to get through the rest of my day. And
Yeah.
so, and it is about putting it in your calendar and
Hmm.
sure you allot the time for it, because if you don't, then it's never going to happen. And we all know that. And so I love that
Yeah.
you help people with their time blocking, et cetera, et cetera. So
The
that's,
other thing I find too
Mhm.
with having the workout wherever somebody ends up doing it is that it helps you sleep better.
Yes,
There are days that
absolutely.
you don't do it. And then now today I did take it. We did start early, as you said. So I took this as my day off. So I won't do something today.
Right,
But I just switched the day that I did that. So
right.
that's all right.
Yeah. And I also love that you said that, our body is our temple. And I will often say that, we often will take better care of our car. As soon as the engine light comes on, we're taking that in for a service. We take better care of our house. We renovate it, we take out the garbage, we vacuum, we clean it, we paint it, etc. We fix broken things.
Hmm.
And we take better care of both of those than we do of our body. And
A
yet the
lot of times.
reality is we can buy another car. We can
Hmm.
buy another house.
Can't buy another body.
Can't buy another body.
No, very true. I love that. Yeah, that's a great analogy because it is so true. And there's many other things we could cite that people take care of before they take care of themselves. And sometimes for some people, it's the other people in your life.
Exactly.
So, which is important,
Yes,
but if you don't take care of you, you're not going to be around long enough to take care of the other people in your life.
exactly.
So,
Back to your airplane analogy, or you can't serve from an empty cup. So,
Yeah,
so I love that you're
absolutely.
bringing this into the business world for people, because that's where
Thank you.
society needs to change.
Yes.
When I was in the corporate world, my experience was it's, you have to work hard to be successful. It's do, do, do. It's go, go, go. You do everything at work and don't bring your home life to work.
Hmm.
And yet, that results in burnout. That results in dis-ease of the body. When we can change society to the point where it's embraced in the working world that we first have to look after ourselves, not to the extreme, but
Right.
allowing people the time to be able to do that so they can show up and give their best, be their best, and have the energy to get through the day. They're more productive, they're
Mm-hmm.
happier, you have less
Yes.
turnover, you have higher profits. It's so obvious to me, and yet it takes time to change society. And I love that you're stepping forward and taking that on. So,
Thank you. Thank
congratulations.
you. And there was, I
Congratulations.
mean, I appreciate that. We all had a little help with that thing that happened in 2020,
Yes.
2021 with being able to work in a different way.
Yes.
And there's a big piece of trust that comes into that.
Yes.
If you have a hybrid workplace, or if people are always working remotely, that trust factor. And I think sometimes employees, feel that they're not trusted, but sometimes they haven't also gained that trust. So it's a combination of the
Hmm.
two. And
Hmm.
if you do the work, nobody really in sales all my career, nobody ever got annoyed at the salesperson that was hitting the targets out of the park,
Right.
right? They're not talking them, they're not
Right.
micromanaging them. It was the
Right.
people who weren't doing that you're looking at. And so if you do what you need to do in your job and in your environment and over deliver, nobody's going to question you,
Yeah.
right? That's where I think there's a bit of a disconnect between the, well, you must let me versus I'm allowed to, and because of what I've done. And I think that from a corporate perspective, I'd say that's, a bit of what businesses are struggling with right now. But I was lucky I got to see as you said, started with the, no, you don't bring anything personal into the office type of thing, into the transition where now it's allowed to understand and to give time and to give grace, and all of that is a lot more. And I have had the advantage of working for good companies who
Hmm.
approach things that way. So for me, it was never an issue, but I know they're not all do. And there's always challenges with being able to have that, relationship,
Yes.
when you're in corporate. As an entrepreneur, you're your own boss and you take care
Right.
of things if you need to, but corporate, you definitely still have that kind of push and pull
And
of things.
I will say from my own personal experience, just very quickly, it depends on the individual as well. Because I worked for a
Yes.
boss who had the growth mindset, and I worked remotely. I've worked remotely for over 20 years. And
Yeah.
he would, when we did get together in person and meet, he said, I don't care if you go on a school field trip. I don't care if you work late in the evening. I just want to travel across this country and hear everybody saying that you're doing great things for them. And that's
Hmm.
all I need to know. Then I know you're doing your job. And then he was let
Exactly.
go. And then I got a new boss who was much more of the closed mindset. And she picked up the phone and said, if you want to go to the dentist, you have to book it off in 15-minute vacation, 15 minutes of vacation
Oh,
time.
wow.
And I'm like,
Wow.
in my mind, going, I'm 5,000 miles away from you. How would you know if I even went to the dentist? However,
Yeah.
she felt so controlling that that's how she felt that I needed to be managed. So
Oh, that's a shame.
different
Yeah.
people. So yeah, I didn't last long working in that environment, and I'm no longer in the corporate world. So
Yeah.
these are all factors, and just the fact that you're
Hmm.
highlighting them for people and letting people know they too have a choice. I had a choice whether I
Yes.
wanted to work in those conditions, and I didn't want to work in them anymore, right? I was let
Hmm.
go in the end, it all, and I'm grateful for that because now I'm in a very different place.
Hmm.
So
And
thank you
it's a
for,
mind.
Mhm.
I was just gonna say it's a mindset for an entrepreneur as well. I was at a workout class and somebody brought her husband and came with her and he said, "Oh, I don't have to work today." And I said, "You're an entrepreneur. You or don't have to go to work today." I said, "You're an entrepreneur. You're giving yourself the grace of not working today." And he's like, "Yeah, I didn't think about it." Yeah, that's true. Right. So yeah, it's how
Exactly.
we think as well. Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly. So thank you for coming on the show and sharing your thoughts on this very important topic and inspiring the audience to think about how they can better care for themselves and build their career or their business. And I
My
love to
pleasure.
ask all of my guests, what does don't wait for your wake up call mean to you?
It really means that I do what you love whenever it comes forward to you. I did have the opportunity of being downsized 3 times and I could have changed at any point, but I didn't feel I was ready till that third time. And I went, you know what? Now I'm ready and I know what I want to do. Um, People will often say, oh, you should do it now, do it now. No, do it when you're ready, but listen to the universe, listen to your heart, listen to yourself, and make that transition when it's good and ready for you.
That's beautiful. Thank you. And if somebody wants to work with you, Michelle, please let them know how they can get hold of you. I'll make sure it's all in the show notes as well. And if you have a free gift for the audience, please share that too.
Yes, absolutely. So for both, so I will, as you put the information in the in the description, I will share my calendar so they can jump on and do a free consult with me. But I also have a health and nutrition guide that is courtesy of one of my friends who is a personal trainer and in the nutrition space. So I will share that as well, because that's something that I find most people feel valuable as a little kind of cheat sheet. So I'll give that to your guests.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. I'm sure that will
Mhm.
be very useful and it's very generous of you. And do you have any last words of wisdom you would like to share with the audience as we wrap up the show?
Absolutely. I'd just say listen to yourself, listen to your body. If you know enough about what's going on in here, then you can take care of it. And as you said for your analogy, yeah, you take care of the car, you take care of the house, you take care of everyone else, take care of yourself and be around for many years to come to enjoy life and happy dance regularly.
Beautiful words of wisdom. Thank you so much for coming on the show, Michelle. Thank you to my audience as well for always tuning in and listening. And if you know someone who needs to hear this message from Michelle today, please share this episode with them. And thank you for always tuning in and week out. We'll be back again with the Don't Wait for Your Wake Up Call podcast next week.